Meeting platform trusted by Fortune 500 companies. Makes it simple. Meet with ease. Learn how. GoToMeeting.com. Odell Beckham, according yesterday, it has been New York Daily News reporting that the L.A. Rams are interested in the Giants star receiver Odell Beckham. Peter King had a very interesting sentence in MMQB this morning. Beckham is a great player who may not fit the Giants' conservative organization. This is interesting. Of the 4 or 5 blue blood franchises in the NFL, the Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles are very comfortable dealing with players who are dynamic and outspoken, in Philadelphia's case, political. But the Packers and the Giants are also blue blood franchises, and they don't appear to be. The New York Giants need to draft a quarterback so in the next couple of years they can transition off of Eli. And they will not, according to sources, because they don't want the blowback. They're not comfortable with being slightly uncomfortable and getting media criticism. The Rams, they don't have a brand. They're not a blue blood. They're the new kids out west, experimental, roll the dice, let's get noticed. And remember, the Rams have something that very few teams in the NFL have. Minnesota, Philadelphia also have this. The rosters are loaded, and if you look at where the Rams, the Vikings, and the Eagles draft, those teams would be hard-pressed to be able to draft a starter. So why not give up a pick? Now, Minnesota does not need a wide receiver. I could argue the Rams don't either, but Odell Beckham is an over-the-top guy. So it's kind of interesting. You know, I always talk about you don't have to give up your principles and your values, but you got to evolve. Of the 4 or 5 blue blood organizations in the NFL, I mean, look, old school, Giants, Eagles, Packers. I put the Steelers in there. These are blue bloods. The Eagles have several players, political, just acquired one. Michael Bennett, Malcolm Jenkins, Chris Long. Very willing to engage in that. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, Le'Veon Bell is doing videos and Antonio Brown Facebook, and they're not getting rid of the players. They're like, these are guys are guys. Giants and the Packers, not as comfortable. So I find that interesting. Nick Wright made the argument yesterday, you certainly can, that you cannot trade a superstar in his prime. It just doesn't work. The teams that have done it regret it. I don't know if that's, I don't have the list in front of me, but I think this is a trade talent business. I think you identify it, assess it, use it, and trade it all the time. And I'll say it again, if I could get a first-round pick from the Rams, the Giants, I believe, can get a first-round pick this year, and maybe the Rams also have multiple picks, like 5th and 6th round, and then you trade that number 2 pick, you have 6, 7 picks. You could do it in a day. The Giants could get 5 to 6 to 7 picks. Let's just lowball at 5. They got the number 2 pick. With Odell and trading that, minimum 5 picks, probably 6 or 7 in the next hour. When you're rebuilding, and the Giants are, they don't want to admit it. They are. Cleveland's admitting it. Indy's admitting it. San Francisco's admitting it. Buffalo's admitting it. Giants won't admit it. I'd make the move. I'm not just saying get Odell out of here because I don't like him. I think he's talented, but he's going to get real expensive. In 4 years, he's missed more than a season, and you can get a lot for him. He's absolutely worth a first-round pick. In fact, I'd say he's worth a first and a fourth. Heard brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Trains stop. Oh, yeah, after they hit you, a mile later they stop. You need to stop. Trains can't. Christine with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
There is a report that has come out that says Baker Mayfield is keeping a list of the media members who have crossed a line. And now he stores screenshots of offending tweets in his phone. Colin, I have a feeling there might be a screenshot or two of you in his phone.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got a whole folder for me. Who else has been credit? Everybody loves him. I'm just saying I'm not drafting him.
That's not all you've said about Baker Mayfield.
I don't like the police video and grabbing your junk
You
stuff.
don't like his...
Junk grabbing.
Was it a bandana?
I don't like... the whole thing turns me off. Now, can I say this?
Sure.
He's not going to be a bust.
Okay.
He's more Case Keenum than Russell Wilson or Breeze. Everybody's saying he's Breeze and Wilson.
I would take that as a
shot.
A shot, yeah.
Okay. I think he grades out as a second to a third round quarterback in the NFL. That's just how I see it.
That quote right there.
By the way, Russell Wilson third round, Dak fourth. That doesn't mean you're a bad player.
No, but you're definitely giving him some bulletin board material.
So what did he say about me?
Well, I don't know what he said about you.
But he's keeping a folder on.
Yes. He's keeping a folder. Well, I don't know if it's a folder specifically, but he screenshots the tweets that are negative, and he also has a list of the media members who have criticized him.
Well, you know what? Then he's...
You've called him short many times.
I called him shorter than ideal.
That's even worse.
I'd like him to be 6'3", but he can't do it.
Well, you know, doesn't everyone want to be 6'3"? The Jets reportedly have not set up a visit with Sam Darnold, and this is after they've moved from the 6th spot to the 3rd.
They have or haven't?
Have not.
Yeah,
they have not even set up a visit with him. They've met with Josh Rosen, Baker Mayfield, and they're going to work out Josh Allen this week. Isn't that interesting that you wouldn't do that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Because if the Giants aren't drafting one and the Browns choose Josh Allen...
Right. Then he's available, and wouldn't you want to know?
Although, what if the Jets watched him and said, "Okay, he's our guy"? Like,
you'd still want to meet him.
I don't know.
Really? You're just gonna why wouldn't you?
If you had 9 friends,
okay,
and friends that you trusted, and not only 9 friends, but like 20 people, 10 you knew, 10 you didn't, and they said, "You got to go out with this guy. He's your perfect match."
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I'd meet him. That's the point. I would meet him.
Okay, he's not available to meet. You can only just
marry him immediately.
No, go out with him.
No, that's why you meet.
So have you ever gone on a blind date?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the Jets are just saying we're going out on a blind date, maybe.
No, they're marrying someone without going out on a date first.
Colin, the Bears, I think last year had almost no contact with Mitch Trubisky, and they ended up trading up a pick to get him.
That's like that show, like 90 Day Fiancé, where you like meet and you have to get married right away. And then you just see if it works. Why wouldn't you just go on a date first?
Yeah, I think you can make that argument.
You should at least check.
For me, I knew it was love at first sight. So I could.
Oh, did you? I don't believe in that. Love at first sight. And finally, Jason Garrett is in Alabama. He is meeting with their wide receivers, including their top receiver, Calvin Ridley, who could maybe go in the top 10.
I like him. I like him a lot. The Cowboys, I like him a lot. I cannot wait. The Cowboys have 10 picks. I cannot wait. I love Calvin Ridley. If the Cowboys get Vita Vea, the interior defensive lineman, I will come on the air the following day and pronounce it the greatest draft pick in league history.
You're making lots of bets lately.
I have. I'm getting very risky.
You are. The Cowboys are hoping that he falls to 19, and Jerry Jones thinks that guys could slide. Maybe it's possible.
We're positioned, and the way the makeup is, if a number of quarterbacks are taken, a couple more running backs are taken, if 2 or 3 of those tackles, offensive tackles hit, really as much as anything, there could be a couple of guards taken ahead of us. And so it's positioned for a situation to drop. You can trade them. We can move up. And with happening, with the little bit of ambiguity on numbers of quarterbacks, what the quarterback level they are, and what we just talked about, there could be active draft there in that first round.
What I don't understand is if you wanted this guy to drop to 19, why would you be vocal about liking him and wanting him to
Boy,
fall?
I like him a lot. I really do. Yeah, there's no way. Now, Vita Vea may. I'm not even sure if he will. Calvin Ridley, I've been having him in my top 10 until recently. I think he's really good. He's not Julio Jones great, but Julio Jones is all-time stuff. This kid's a multiple Pro Bowler, plays in the league 10 years, really good player. Like him a lot.
Okay, that's the news.
Christine with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
He played in the NFL for 8 years. Now a radio TV guy living in Charlotte, comes out to the West Coast. He played at UCLA. Let's bring him on. Geoff Sachartz joining us in the Herd. He played at Oregon. My bad. You verbaled to UCLA, and then you bailed on UCLA.
No, they bailed on me.
They bailed on you.
They rescinded my offer, so they bailed on me.
And you're like, in your face, Bruins.
Yes, because I didn't lose to them. Well, I lost once in college, but yes, otherwise we beat them many times.
That must have felt great.
It was fantastic, yes.
They dissed you.
They did. They had an offer. They then rescinded it over email, by the way. Not even a call, like email.
Who was? I'm not even going to call.
No, I've said the story before. It was Carl Durrell.
A mistake, Carl.
Yes, big mistake. Both parents UCLA alums.
Yours are?
Yeah.
Well,
they still have season tickets.
That's funny. Okay, so the NFL has a new targeting rule. It was interesting. Of all the things we were doing yesterday, I kind of glazed over this and haven't discussed it. Basically, it's a foul if a player lowers his head to initiate and make contact with his helmet against an opponent. This has a feeling that it's kind of a reaction to Ryan Shazier's injury. Do you believe that?
Yes, I think it's that, and obviously the CT concern. The problem right now, it's way too broad. So I'm an offensive lineman. Let's say I pull around the corner.
Okay.
I'm 6'6.5". I lower myself to make contact. The defender lowers himself too. We hit helmet to helmet. Do I get tossed? Does he get tossed? Who initiates contact? Running backs in a hole. They protect themselves by going low. They protect their knees by going low. They make contact with the safety. Is the safety being tossed? Is the back being tossed? We know when a guy is being malicious. He leaves his feet. The wide receiver's running. He's not making a football move. Hits him in the helmet. That guy gets flagged anyways. Flagged, fined, and suspended. To me, this feels like an overreaction. I know they said they're going to have players and coaches in and talk about this and figure out a way to have this happen, but we already have the rule in place. So what's going to change? I just think that's too broad. And also, we're going to leave this up to the refs now to decide who gets tossed in a game that's being played fast, quick, it's violent. Hasn't worked in college, I don't think, very well.
No, the ejection's been very tenuous at best in college.
So I just don't understand it. I heard rumors we're going to eliminate kickoffs too.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yes.
That is now a suggestion. Now, I've never watched a football game for kickoffs. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I just don't care. In fact, I find that, coaches in college are just trying to find guys who will raise their hand and are willing to do that, right?
It's awful.
So and it's got the highest concussion rate of any play. I have no problem if you started it at the 30. It doesn't bother me. By the way, how many games in your life, I can think of just
yes,
have been decided by a kickoff return?
2015, we beat the Cowboys at home on a kickoff return by Dwayne Harris. That we won 27-20, and that was the reason why. It was a tie game. He scored.
In your 8 years, that was the game.
Yeah, I think that's like the one that I can recall. But I think there's a high percentage, I think over 80% of games won when your special team scores, whether it's a punt return or kickoff return. If you eliminate kickoffs, which I would be kind of okay with, just like you put a 25, let them go, you would take away roster spots from kids that are on the team for special teams alone. So you would probably lose roster spots. Now, you might add 2 offensive linemen, might add another linebacker, but you would take away roster spots from young kids who make the roster to play special teams.
Odell Beckham, the Giants, I believe this, Jeff, to be true, that organizations, and when I say use, it's a little harsh. Peter King, Peter Schrager, Adam Schefter, Jay Glazer, some of the really high-end NFL reporters, they know, teams know that NFL people are reading them.
Yes.
Like there's about 8 of those guys, right? Mortensen, all this stuff, right? And when I say reporters get used, no. Reporters have large followings, and GMs are all following about 8 to 10 NFL reporters. So yesterday, the Giants, Adam Schefter breaks a story that they would trade him for 2 picks. To me, the messaging was, call us.
Yes.
We'll talk. I thought it was a complete messaging by them, and they said 2 first. But they're not. That to me was just like, just don't lowball us.
If Odell's worth 2 first, what's Tyron Smith worth? 18 first-round draft picks? Aaron Rodgers is worth 1,000. Like 2 first-round draft picks for a wide receiver just seems asinine, quite honestly. Now, 1 might be good. Look, if you're the Rams, let's say, the Rams right now have quarterback, left tackle, pass rush, and cornerback. They have 4 most important
interior
positions.
Defensive lineman.
So they can afford to trade 23rd pick for Odell. I don't think a lot of teams can afford to trade their first-round pick for Odell. The Giants are open for business for Odell. This does not get out unless they're setting up smoke signals like, please come call us for Odell. I've heard you talk about the Giants kind of in rebuild mode.
Yeah.
I think they're doing it quietly because of what happened with Eli last year. The backlash was so strong in New York with Eli's benching, that Gettleman's trying to do this kind of sneakily where he trades JPP. That was a fit thing and a money thing, but also not his guy. Odell's not his guy as well. Eli is. Now, Eli was there when Gettleman was first there. So I think they're going to draft a quarterback at 2, probably Josh Rosen, probably trade Odell, get themselves some more draft picks, and just start the rebuild. Probably Eli will play this year, and then in 2019 they'll start fresh with Josh Rosen.
Yeah, it's interesting. I talked about this a minute ago. There are blue blood franchises: Giants, Steelers, Eagles, Packers. Really, I wouldn't even call them. The Patriots aren't a blue blood. No. They're nouveau riche. They've been good for 15 years. They're Silicon Valley money. Some of those old school teams, Philadelphia brings on players who want to talk politics. Yes. They're very comfortable with it. The Steelers, Facebook videos, like they're not abandoning Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. They're comfortable with it. Green Bay and the Giants, you were there.
Yeah, no. And I'll tell you what, the Giants are the only team I've been on that encourages you to do media, though. Like, they're fine with players going on the media, doing appearances, doing things like that. But as John Mara said this week, he's tired of getting off-the-field questions about Odell. Look, Odell's beloved in the locker room. He was a great teammate when I was there. I'm sure it's not changed. He works his tail off. If they were to let him go, there will be backlash in the locker room for a little bit because he is really beloved in that locker room.
He really is.
Yeah. But I think that they want to talk about Pat Shurmur, Dave Gettleman, the moves they made. They don't want to talk about a video that surfaced of Odell. They don't want to talk about, was this other video Odell? What's Odell doing? They want to focus on football. I mean, they're a football organization, and they want that.
Let me ask you, when that Odell Beckham video came out, it was a model, a blunt, a pizza, and a credit card with a white substance.
Yes.
I was mostly outraged that you're in France and ordered a pizza. That really, I thought, was low.
Some escargot?
It wasn't eaten, though. There was nothing missing from the pizza. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
Y'all went deep dive on this.
Yeah, we did. Deep dish, deep dive. Okay, so let me ask you this. How does that play among players in the locker room? Did Odell lose a single Giant player over that?
No. I don't think I watched the entire video. It was like 3 seconds. I probably watched a second and was like, all right, whatever. I mean, look, I've said this for a long time. As long as you show up on Sunday and you help us win football games and you don't get me injured and you don't lose my job, I don't care what you do off the field. I don't care you party, who you choose to sleep with, what political belief you have. As long as you show up on Sunday to help me win football games and don't cost me my job, show up on Sunday, do whatever you want during the week. I've always felt that way.
Geoff Sachartz is joining us. So people think I'm crazy. Hey, Sammy, back there in the graphics. So I do a blind resume thing. And football, we bet football.
Yes.
And that means you bet money on football.
Yes.
And we do fantasy football. So it's the most emotional sport in America. Because once you start putting your money on it, nobody bets baseball. Not many people bet hockey.
No.
Not a lot of guys bet in college basketball. We bet football, therefore we're emotionally tied to it.
Yes.
We're in fantasy leagues. Cam versus Dak. You put the resumes up, and I know Cam's way better, but we both know that Dak tends to be. You're in Cam country. You live in North Carolina.
Yeah,
okay.
I am probably. Well, I know I'm labeled a Cam hater in Charlotte. I'm not the biggest fan of Cam.
Okay, so Dak beats Cam, winning percentage, completion percentage, passer rating, TD. Okay, but what's funny about this, on the blind resume we did this, because people think I hate Cam, I started loading it up with Matt Stafford, and then Joe Flacco, and then Carson Wentz.
Right.
And I start looking at the numbers, and I'm like, I'm not saying Cam's perfect, but you match him up against the former number 1 pick, Matt Stafford.
Right.
And then you match him up against the Super Bowl MVP from a good organization, Joe Flacco. And then you match him up against the guy we all love from a great organization, Carson Wentz. Come on now, Dak's pretty good.
I think he's pretty good. I think what hurt him last year was the fact that they had injuries and Zeke didn't play for 6 games and he did not perform very well. And we see quarterbacks throughout the NFL have injuries, have other issues, and still perform very well. I think his rookie year, Romo would have gone 13-3 too. I give Dak credit for that, but he was dropped with the best offensive line of football.
He was.
The best running game of football, a Hall of Fame tight end, a Pro Bowl level wide receiver. The defense would play out of its mind in 2016 as well. Last year, defense takes a step back. His left tackle's out, doesn't have the run game, and he didn't play as well as did his rookie year. So I think that's what people think about him. Well, he just, he can't do it.
So if I said to you, next 7 years, Stafford or Dak?
Ooh, see, I played in Detroit with Stafford. I think he's really underrated. See, Stafford's going to be a really good test case for the Hall of Fame one day because he's going to have all the passing stats of all time.
So you're telling me you take Stafford over Dak?
He's going to have. I think I would take Dak for the next 7 years, but Stafford though, I would take Dak. But Stafford though is I think very undervalued because he played in a bad organization.
Dak or Cam next 7 years?
Oh, Dak.
Dak or Flacco next 7 years?
Well, Dak. I mean, Flacco's almost basically
it's
done,
funny.
right?
You seem to be agreeing with me. Dak or Carson Wentz? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm not stupid. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz is amazing. Yeah.
Right.
I was trying to lure you in.
No.
You didn't bite either. Okay, so I look at all these quarterbacks. Christine has marginalized me completely on this. I don't like police videos. I don't like it grabbing your junk.
Yeah.
Okay, you just said none of this stuff bothers you. I don't like my quarterbacks acting like that. Am I wrong?
Well, I think quarterbacks are different situations. If you look at the best quarterbacks in NFL, they have almost none of these things that happen off the field. I think that does concern you with Mayfield. Like the crotch grab, okay, I mean, like that was immature. I don't think he does that in the NFL. The police video thing would be something that they have to follow, and they have a private investigator following him. I think that he has a lot of red flags. I think just athletically, what offense he played in. There's no one that's playing an air raid offense who's made it really successful in the NFL besides Case Keenum. 1 year, which is last year.
By the way, that's the
problem.
guy I compare him to.
So people are talking about all this off-field stuff. On-field stuff. He's played an offense that's designed to have ginormous numbers. It's designed for easy completions. And look, Lincoln Riley's done a variety of it. It's not like the true old-school Mike Leach air raid, but it's an air raid nonetheless. And we've seen quarterbacks in the NFL who have not succeeded in this offense. Look, the practice time is less than NFL now. The meeting time is less than NFL now. It's tougher, I think, for quarterbacks to come from these programs and succeed now in the NFL. If you took him and you let him sit for a year or two, I think he'd be fine. But if you played him right now, this year, he'd be a big mistake.
Jeff, he's playing this year. The Jets aren't bringing it. Come on. You think he's going to sit?
No, I think it's a mistake if he plays this year. I think he needs time to learn an offense. I think he can be really talented, but if you play him this year and he's not ready to go, I think it's going to be bad for him. I don't know. I mean, like Josh Allen worries me too because he can't complete passes.
Josh Allen can't play immediately.
He can't complete passes.
No way. Josh Allen will be a bust if he plays first year. Two guys can play tomorrow. Darnold, Rosen.
Correct.
Then there's three guys that I think either need a lot of help or time. Baker's the best of them, and then Lamar and Allen depending.
Yes.
Like Lamar Jackson's an NFL athlete.
Right.
You got to let him have 16 months in the system.
Right.
Josh Allen, I don't know. I don't know if Josh Allen's accurate enough to play in the NFL.
He's not.
I don't think he is.
56%. He reminds me of Jake Locker. Big kid, strong kid.
Thank you.
Moves around, runs around. I mean, I'm a Pac-12 guy. I remember Locker was supposed to be the same as Josh Allen. Big arm, not accurate, but he can be better in the NFL.
Never.
Completion percentage doesn't get better in the NFL. And look, the excuses we use for Josh Allen are just tremendous, right? He throws the ball too fast, throws the ball too hard. His wide receivers aren't any good. Well, in 2016, he had 3 NFL skill position players. He completed 56% of passes. I watched him this year against Oregon, 9 for 24 at home against Oregon.
No. Bad. I saw him against Iowa. Bad.
So I watched that game too, unfortunately. So I think that he has a lot of work. And look, I know he has all the arm talent, but we've not seen in this recent NFL where a guy in his last year, let alone his career, throw for 56% and do well in the NFL. It hasn't happened.
Geoff Sachartz, good stuff. What are you doing down here in L.A.?
Speak for yourself later. Got my Pac-12 show later tonight. Same channel as Ryan Leaf does as well. Just hanging out.
Hey, Hollywood's around the corner. Clubs.
Oh, no. Bed. I stay, when I come out here, I stay East Coast time. I'll be asleep by like 8.
Oh, no. Not like my life.
Not very fun.
Geoff Sachartz, good stuff. 66% of men lose their hair by the age of 35. There's something that needs to be done. And if you start noticing hair loss, it's too late. Easier to keep it than replace the hair you've lost. That hairline's slowly moving backwards. Why don't you go to 4hims.com, a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness. These are well-known generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions. This is not snake oil pills or those supplements you get at a gas station counter. This is prescription solutions backed by science. No waiting room, no awkward doctor visit. You save hours. Easy. Quick questions. Doctor reviews it. Product shipped to your door. Right now, $5 you're in. Seriously. Trial month, $5 you're in. Go to the website for details. 4hims.com/Colin. 4hims.com/Colin. One-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, sexual wellness for men.